beautiful soul. Welcome to the Quantum Business Queen podcast. This podcast is a vortex for activating wealth, riches, and boss bitches. It is here that I teach multi-dimensional business. Our content will fall under 3 different categories: 5D quantum creation, 4D frequency alchemy, and the most potent 3D strategy. Every aspect of business that contributes to the creation of success is covered here. Plus, I will be personally interviewing the most amazing boss bitches that are at the forefront of the game, paving the way for money, magic, and magnetism in business. Let's get ready to activate all of that within you. Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to this week's episode of the Quantum Business Queen podcast. I'm going to get straight into it. I don't know if this is going to be short, long, in between, or whatever. I'm just going to be in flow because that's how I roll. But I want to talk about money. I want to talk about it because it is a hot topic right now. And I have hung out with some of the most amazing entrepreneurs and everyone in between. And if you're feeling the tight squeeze right now, I want you to know, number 1, you're not alone. And number 2, there is absolutely no shame in that. Never any shame in that. So this is a conversation that needs to be had. It's super, super important. You know, some of the best entrepreneurs, some of the people you follow online, some of the most amazing humans you might look up to because they say they're making all this money. Guys, I want you to know some of the time it could be smoke and mirrors. And if you're struggling and you feel like, well, why is everyone else around me creating all the success and I feel like I've hit a wall or a glass ceiling or whatever you feel like you've hit, please know you are absolutely not alone. I want to tell you a few different stories actually. And obviously I've been to Necker Island. I keep harping on about that. It was really interesting. I remember the first time I spoke to my mentor about this and the first time that she'd ever been to Necker Island. She was running 7 figures and she had to borrow the money to go because she didn't have the money. And at this point, her business was generating 7 figures. And so that story always stuck with me because no matter what level you're at in business, no matter what people are clouding, like, oh, multi 6 figures, 7 figures, this or whatever, know that behind those businesses are all different kinds of struggles that you would have no idea. So I want to normalize like having conversations around this. I want to normalize not having shame around hitting certain thresholds and maintaining them or not. Like business is business. It is not all roses and rainbows and sunshine. And even though most people want to make it out to be, you know, I was listening to another multi-7-figure entrepreneur talk about, you know, she was being announced for this massive speaking gig and she was being announced as a 7-figure entrepreneur. And she said she had $5,000 in her bank account at the time, you know, and it was like she was saying, like a lot of us, we just get addicted to investing in ourselves. It doesn't mean she didn't know how to make money, but at the time she felt a lot of shame and like a fraud and whatever else, because it's like, okay, this is the label, but what's really happening behind the scenes isn't necessarily the case. And so guys, if you're feeling it, know that you're not alone. Right now, so many people are being tested, so many entrepreneurs, so many light workers. And here's the thing, when it comes to manifestation and deliberate creation, it's all about self-mastery. It is all about self-mastery, which is a journey, right? So what I mean by that is one of the biggest disservices that you can do to yourself is look at your bank account balance and make it mean something about you as an entrepreneur, or look at your bank account balance and make it mean that you should feel shame or whatever else you might be feeling. That is not self-mastery. Self-mastery, when you will truly be tested by the universe. And trust me, I'm going through my own internal test at the moment, and I've been through all the ups and downs and everything sideways directions in all the different ways, but every single time it calibrates me. Self-mastery is truly knowing that you can look at your bank account, you can look at the money coming in, money going out, and of course you can be smart with it, but you still remain in your beautiful, solid place of abundance. You still remain in the knowing that you are always looked after and that everything is always working out for you. That is true self-mastery. When you know that everything in your reality is happening to benefit you and you don't make it mean anything less than that, that is true self-mastery. That is how you are tested. In fact, some of the best entrepreneurs and some of the coaches that my favorite mentors are the people that go through this type of calibration. In my opinion, there's nothing worse than working with an entrepreneur that's just all success and has never had the roller coaster ride, or has never understood what scarcity meant, or has never had to work hard to really do the internal work to shift out the limiting beliefs. If you are in scarcity, if you are feeling an uncomfortable emotion, there are two things you need to look at. Number one, there is always a belief that's activating that emotion. There's always a belief that is activating that emotion, and it's always because you're making it mean something. So in order to get to this place of self-mastery, and of course, unless you're enlightened, there's always going to be new layers and new levels of this. Number one, what is the belief behind that? And if it's anxiety, if you're full of anxiety, if you're worried, if you're in this place of crazy unknown, not knowing where, wherever is going to come from, there's some sort of subconscious beliefs that you are extremely limited in what the universe is able to provide for you, that clients just don't come out of nowhere, which, trust me when I say they do. They absolutely do. When you can align your belief system to that, you have to understand the limiting beliefs that are making you feel super constricted, that's activating that emotion within your body. And then what are you making that mean? So the belief will activate the emotion, and the meaning can activate the shame. So if you're feeling both of those things in your business, number one, I want you to know, like I said, you're absolutely not alone. Number two, you have to have an awareness around the beliefs, because once you see what the belief is, then you be like, okay, yeah, I see this belief. I can understand why this belief is activating this crazy emotion within me, why it's making me feel dense, why it's making me feel worried, why it's making me feel all the feels, maybe not good enough or whatever else. I can see why that emotion's being activated. And then the next layer is what you're making it mean, which again, like I said, is going to activate the shame. So what are you making this mean? I'm making this mean that I'm not good enough, so why should I be talking about this? I'm making this mean that who am I to, so who's going to listen to me? And all of these guilt and shame emotions start to spiral. And when you have those two things, the fear and the scarcity and the worry, which is activated by the belief, and then the shame and all of those other things, which is activated by the meaning, you become paralyzed. So let's undo all of this. I want to give you permission right now to release the weight of the beliefs, release the weight of the meanings, because you are not alone. No matter what level of entrepreneurs, you best believe they were posting their beautiful selfies in front of their luxury cars and maybe having 5K in the bank account. Who knows? I know when I spend money, when I invest in myself, which like all of us who are entrepreneurs, like on some level, you're addicted to expansion. Maybe you are, maybe you are. Well, surely you are. I am. And so I will spend money, sometimes expanding myself past my capacity, but I know it's going to be the next thing for me. And I know, and I do this and I do it super freaking uncomfortable, but that means that I will have a lag in my bank account. Just like, drop 50K here or whatever, wherever I drop it. And yes, that means there's going to be a massive dip, and I ride a roller coaster. This is me being totally honest and totally transparent, but it would be way harder for me to be on that ride and to be on this ever expanding journey of evolution and expansion if I didn't understand what the belief systems and what the meanings can do. And so you best believe every single day I work on my belief systems. I re-hardwire myself. I am literally subconsciously reprogramming myself as I fall asleep at night. I'm doing a recount of my day. I'm teaching my subconscious what the programs need to be in order to activate new layers of beliefs, which will activate new layers of abundance. And if there's any emotion, your emotions are the guidance system. So if I'm feeling any emotions of like, who am I to, or guilt or shame, and I'll be honest, I don't often feel that because I know the stuff I teach is from a pure place of authenticity, all channeled, all embodied. So very rarely will I ever feel guilt or shame, but I know it is a very common thing. And if you do feel it, it is okay. It is okay. So ask yourself what you're making something mean. And the second you recognize the meaning or the label that you've put on the circumstance, you can shift it. We experience our realities through the beliefs that we have formulated and the meanings that we give them. This is why we're deliberate creators, because we create those beliefs and we create the meanings. Once you realize it, it's in your full control to shift the beliefs. And sometimes it's not hard because our beliefs are cemented in us from our experiences. So it's like we take our experiences from the past and we're like, well, yeah, of course that's going to be the case. And you feel like you have to copy paste it into the future. But that is not how our consciousness works. We get to change our beliefs. We can tell ourselves that everything in our reality is happening always to benefit us, whether we feel comfortable or it's fucking uncomfortable. It is always there to benefit you. You will always be looked after by the universe, no matter what. Everything is working in your favor. Everything is aligning beautifully and perfectly for you every single day, no matter how dense it feels, it is for you. When you feel the essence of that truth, and I say that's a truth because you get to choose your truths. When you feel the expansion in your cells, as I say those things, then you get to choose it as a new belief system. And then you get to figure out the meanings that you get to let go of. And once you do that, I promise you, number one, you are going to release a weight load of resistance. And once you start releasing the bucket loads of resistance, clients just randomly and out of nowhere just start popping through. You get clarity around a new idea. Somebody pops in with a collaboration and all of a sudden things just start happening. And it's because you decided to make that shift. So I think this is an important conversation to have. You know, things are only looking up. Things are only going to get better. If you felt the squeeze, you're amongst thousands of soulpreneurs, millions of soulpreneurs that are feeling it right now. Oftentimes, most people don't talk about it. So just know it's all happening with us. I felt Necker Island, man, stretched the living daylights out of me. That was one of the biggest stretches of my life. And trust me, when I'm still calibrating myself to that whole experience, let alone all of what it cost, etc. So you're not alone, my friend. Okay. You are not alone. You can be in this with everyone else. We need to normalize talking about this side of things, because there is just this misconception that once you hit a certain threshold, it's all sunshine and daisies and roses, whether you're 7 figures or multiple 7 figures, it is still the same roller coaster ride, So I hope this brings you a bit of relief or peace or whatever it needed to bring you. Just know that I am here. Know that we are all here. We're all in this together. You are meant to be on this planet to experience yourself as a creator. You are meant to be on this planet to live out your soul's purpose. There is a destiny for you. It doesn't mean it doesn't come without fear. It doesn't mean it doesn't come without scarcity. It doesn't mean it doesn't come without worry, no matter what level you're at. So you got to make friends with it. You got to understand where these things come from, and you can pull it out at the roots and shift it for good and make it easier for growth to happen and for expansion to be less painful. I'm giggling because I'm thinking, is it ever less painful? Sometimes I hate to say this. What do they say? They say new level, new devil. I don't want to buy into that one, but it's always the expansion, man. Expansion stretches you and then it literally squeezes out all the density that was beneath the surface. So you fucking feel it. You feel it hardcore, and it is not comfortable. But you're not alone. So I want to say, like, I've spoken to entrepreneurs, like I said, that are in Necker Island with me that are feeling it, and like I said, my mentor running 7 figures had to borrow money. There is zero shame in any of it. Whether you have to get support or a job or whatever it is. No, there's no shame. Don't worry. Don't make it mean anything except for everything is working out for you. Everything is perfect. You are being supported. Everything is divine. Everything is happening to benefit you Always, always, beautiful soul. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. If you are struggling in any way, just reach out to me. Just reach out to me to say, hey, I'm here. I'm feeling this. Yep, you've hit it where it needs to hit this week. And yep, this is definitely me. Just so we know that we're all here and we're all in this together. So I love you. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. And until next time, I hope this has done what it needs to do. Thank you so much for listening today, beautiful soul. I hope you got so much gold and were activated in such a way that you could step into your highest timeline of abundance and freedom, because it is more than possible for you. If that desire has been planted in your soul, it is so deliberate. If you wouldn't mind, please rate, review, subscribe to this podcast so that we can get this message into the hearts and ears of more amazing light beings across the world. I would love to continue this conversation with you, so feel free to get in touch on Instagram at sarah.tynan.quantumcoach. If you're a Facebook person, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Sarah Tynan International. And please don't ever forget, if your desire is there, it's because your destiny is there too. You just have to remember who you are. Bye for now, beautiful.